All right. I'm hoping people can hear me. I'm having a terrible time with my internet connection. Of course, as soon as I want to do this, our internet service provider decides to have issues. So if you are in the chat or watching this, let me know. You might see some flickering, and that is just because my internet connection is so bad right now. But if you can hear me, type in the chat and let me know if at least you can hear me, because that might be the best uh, way for me to do things here. So I tried to do a test earlier. Okay, you can hear me, Mark Anthony. That's awesome. I do appreciate it, and hopefully the connection will get a little bit better as time goes on. I believe there might be a little flickering, but I apologize. Yeah, of course. As soon as I try to do this, as I said, I have issues. I've been wanting to try to get back to doing live streams again. And I thought tonight, because I had nothing else to do, would be a good time to try this. So, as I said, if you guys have any issues with the video or the audio, just let me know, and I'll just have to keep working on my internet connection. But I apologize. But anyway, I wanted to do a little live streams. I haven't done one in a while, and as my channel is approaching 10,000 subscribers now, um, I thought that it would be a good time for me to start doing this again. Um, so there's a lot that I want to talk about, and I did want to do a channel update. I was thinking about making a video out in the garage today about it, but I said, why not just do a live stream? So I'll just wait for a couple more people to come in. But how are you guys doing? Did you guys celebrate Dianne Feinstein not being around anymore? I had a delicious steak tonight. We grilled out, and yeah, the Second Amendment community is in a lot better shape today than it was a couple days ago. And I know that's a horrible thing to say, but it's the way it goes, huh? All right, so we have about 10 people here, which is way more than I thought that would actually show up. Hey, Craig, I got Joe, got Coram Deo, uh, Mark Anthony. Let's see. Okay, it's good. Okay, so what is the channel update? And I see I do have a question from Mark Anthony, and I will get to that as well. The channel update is, since you guys know I had to restart my channel. I had like 43,000 subscribers before, and back in February, YouTube, was going against many of the gun channels. Mine got struck because apparently screwing a suppressor on a firearm was considered gun modification, and they got me for videos where I was doing that going back like years and years and years. And of course, when it comes to the appeal process, they would not listen, and that was it. But then they changed the rules, but they wouldn't give me my channel back, so I had to start my channel over. And if you guys, or some of you, are new to the channel or subscribe to me after February the 1st of this year, you might notice that some of my videos are definitely not in chronological order, and I have been releasing all of the content that I made. And I had made a lot of content, a lot of gun reviews in the past, and luckily I had saved a lot of them. And so I have just been releasing them in no particular order. And I've been doing pretty much one a day. The first couple months, just to get my name back out there, I was doing or releasing like 3 a day. Then I did 2 a day. And now for the past few months, I've been doing 1 a day. And of course, I'm running out of my old content. And I was doing product reviews on the weekend, and then the range reports on their gun content during the week. But we have reached a point where I am going to, because of the amount of content that I still have not released yet that I previously filmed, we're going to go to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is going to be the new release dates or times throughout the week. I'm still making new content, and I'm interjecting that. Right now, with a Monday, Wednesday, Friday release every week, and whatever I do on the weekends, I still have videos out until I think like February the 12th or 15th as it sits right now, but I still got more guns in for review. And so that's kind of what's going on. So if you begin to see or not see a video every single day. It's not that I'm not making it. It's just that my backlog of old videos that were, going back years, I'm running out of for the re-release. And I just can't dump every video out there immediately, so I had to stagger those releases. I'm really honored that since February, I've gotten back to almost 10,000 subscribers. I know I probably would have been over 65 or 70,000 if I hadn't, had the original channel struck and all that. But you'll notice that sometimes I have to edit the videos. I've taken things out of the old videos, but everything I think out there now is to their new community guidelines. But yeah, in some videos I did not re-release because, like, for example, there was ones that I did like suppressor. I did a couple suppressor reviews, and I just can't put those out there. I just can't risk it. I know YouTube's changed their policies and said, "Oh, you can do it now," but I don't want them to change their policy in the future because losing the channel was hard on me, because I had done so much work. But the way that I organize the channel now, what you guys don't see behind the scenes is pretty much I have like a mirrored channel that has no subscribers, but pretty much everything on the channel is mirrored, especially when my Patreon see most of it. But of course, then I divided that with the other content with the Texas Gun Vault too. So I have like a backup plan and all that kind of stuff. So, but hopefully I'll never have to use it. And yeah, so I kind of learned my lesson there. It was still just, I said, a huge hit to me. So anyway, I see some more people have come in. J and K Noob, K Bauer, Neo. It's great to see you again, Cookie. And so if you guys are, if you could just tell me how's the image quality. I believe you guys can hear me, but as I said, I'm having some problems with my internet connection today. We've been having some problems here in this neighborhood. We use Spectrum, and for some reason, we have just been having just so many issues with uploads, downloads. We can barely watch any streaming services without major interruptions. Okay. Mr. King Arthur HK says the image is good and sounds good. Awesome. As long as the audio is there, I'm pretty happy. So it's nice to be back. And so that was the big channel update. I was going to put that into a video, but I thought that'd be kind of boring. So why not do a live stream and talk to you guys and see how life is? So let me see here. Mark Anthony says my image is good, but it skips around a little. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. And so when I opened up the, I guess the was it the webcam software, it shows that it's not a hardware issue because it looks good on my computer. I'm pretty sure it's just the connection with YouTube, and that's just because of my internet connection. So let's go back here, and that's all I wanted to say about the updates. And so if you guys don't see a video every single day, you know what's going on right now. We've gone to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday release starting this month. So in October. So I still got stuff out. I said, some of my old stuff going back up until February. So I still got tons of content to release, and I'm really happy with the growth of the channel. And I think the channel actually, part of me wishes I could still get access to my old videos and my old subscriber list, and I would just tell them to come over to this channel now. But I like how organized my new channel is. So all right. So Mark Anthony had asked me a question. He said, what are your thoughts on the possibility of an upcoming recession in 2024? Furthermore, if this happens, what are your thoughts on more civil unrest and protests? Well, even though I'm a gun channel, I can talk a little bit about that. And, one of the people that I listen to a lot on podcasts and YouTubes is Tim Pool. And he always gets made fun of because he talks about, a possible coming civil war and civil unrest. And I just definitely think it's the way it is because we cannot continue on this trajectory. Our nation is bifurcated, the right and the left, whatever side you find yourself on. They are becoming more and more incompatible. And you have just two completely different philosophies on existence. One of the personal political philosophies that I see in the world today is something that I call absurdism. And it's the concept that uh, you just can't live your life normally and exist the way things have been. It is your job, especially if you're a politician. You don't want to go down in history as the person that just kept the trains running and the potholes filled and the stoplights working. You want to make sure that you were the first to do something that nobody else ever did before. You want to be the next George Washington. You want to be the next Delano Roosevelt. So, whatever the previous generation or politician or whatever achieved, it's your job to go to the next level. And it gets to the point where things become absurd, you know, and that's why we have the things in our society today that just seem completely bizarre, 57 genders, and everyone is celebrated like, what's that person's name? That's uh, the director of national. Anyway, it's definitely a dude that is dressing like a girl, and it's a health person in the government. I forgot whatever her name is. you know that's just absolutely bizarre. And now they're like, wow, that's the first trans woman of color that thinks of themselves as a spider. And that's like, wow, we're so progressive. It's just because it gets more absurd, and then the next person has to be another thing and another thing. And that's just what I see is happening in our society, and it just does not seem to be stopping. So we just can't go on like that. And from a financial standpoint, we just can't keep spending trillions and trillions of dollars that we don't have. That bill is eventually going to be, come due. But anyway, I hope that answers your question. So yes, I guess. Oh, let's see here. K Bauer, it was a 9mm day at the range today for me. That's awesome. Yeah, I have a few pistols in that I need to take to the range. I was going to go today, but I ended up not going. So I'll probably end up going, man, maybe this week, because right now I am just swamped with work. I am working like I took on too many students this year. I got about 80 students that I teach. You guys know I'm a private music lesson teacher, and that takes up a lot of time. And then in the evenings this week, I got rehearsals with various ensembles, and I got a concert this upcoming Sunday. But I do have Friday and next Monday off, so I will definitely get to the range. Let's see here. Mr. King says, nice looking studio. Yeah, this is just my little music room and office that I usually teach lessons in and things. But it's a little bit messy right now. So, but this is where I usually keep my computer and things. I would like to do this from the garage, but the garage is usually too hot. And then I've tried to do it before and use our Wi-Fi, but I'm unsuccessful because for some reason my laptop computer just cannot keep up with the uh, brought or the was it the amount of data that needs to be transferred. And I've tried it; it just doesn't work. All right, so we got Joe says, I still haven't been shooting since my dad died. It's kind of a mental block. I'm very sorry, Joe. I send my condolences. Hope you get some time to get back to the range. Then we got Neo. Just came back from the range. I was lucky enough to get I'm assuming you say ZC Shadow 2 compact, but I think you mean CZ. And actually, I'll tell you what, Mark from Brownworks just messaged me and said that he is looking for somebody or if I ever get a chance to review a CZ Shadow 2 compact, because he just designed some grips for them. So he'll be sending me a set. So hopefully I can find ones to try out. But I do hear it is a great firearm. Let's see here. J&K News says, if anyone's looking for a quick access fingerprint safe, I can recommend. Oh yeah. So especially if you live in an apartment, I used to live in an apartment, and safe access can be kind of an issue because I got these large safes, so I always had to live on the bottom floor. Let's see here. Yeah, Mr. King author says the guy that looks his throat threw up in a uniform dress like a woman. Yeah, I totally forgot that person's name, but it's absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. But of course, the next person that holds that job has to be something even crazier, you know. Kay Bauer says, I identify as a Second Amendment supporter. I think pretty much everyone that follows the Texas Gun Vault 2 and the Texas Gun Vault does as well. You also said you're upgrading your personal berm next week. That's awesome. Oh, Spray and Pray 11 says Rachel Levine or Levine. That's who it is. Yes. Yes. You can see how much I care and follow them. See here. Joe says, dude, that dog boy girl thing scares me. Oh, I saw that. That is a little creepy. Somebody spent like $20,000 to have that suit made or whatever. Knife Tech says, would you, could you in a box? So anyway, yeah. See, what do I have on the agenda for this week? Let me see here. I can tell you guys. I'm gonna hopefully not mess this thing up. I'm gonna go to my YouTube Creator Studio here and tell you guys what I got going on for the week. What's upcoming? Hold on, I got to go to my this week. I still got like 200 videos to release. In case you're wondering, people always ask me what's up next. Tomorrow, we have a range report. It's one of my new range reports. It's not from the old channel. We have a range report on the Noveske Infidel Gen 4 rifle, and that was on loan to the channel from D. And then Wednesday, we have the Smith & Wesson 629 Classic. And I think that one is from my older channel, but it was one of the very last videos I made before I lost it. So that one maybe not a lot of you guys have seen. And then on Friday, we're going to have a range report on the Smith & Wesson MMP 22 full size. So that's what's coming up this week. All right. Mike Seifert says, hello, Jason. Good to see you. It's good to see you all. I'm so glad that you are here. Honestly, I didn't think anybody would even show up because, it's not like I was, when you have, 30,000 subscribers, you're lucky to get 50 in a live stream. And right now, with me being south of 10,000, I was expecting maybe 10 people. So to have right now 23 people in here is quite humbling. So thank you all for being here. And once again, if you're just joining us, my internet connection is terrible. So if my image is jumping around, it's not your computer, it's my internet connection. So hopefully we will get that fixed. I've already restarted the router and done all that stuff, but it didn't help. All right, Jerry Skinner asks, what do you think about the California lifting up the ban on high-capacity magazines? Well, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I have my Texas Gun Vault poll question of the week that is getting released on the Texas Gun Vault 2. Of course, I put a link here on this channel as well. So I answer that question. So I'll go ahead and save it for then. Watch that video, and you'll see what everyone else thinks and then what I think. So that's a good question. Yes, the Smith & Wesson 629 and 44 Magnum. Yes, Mr. King. See, Joe Morgan, you grew pretty fast. I've been doing it a year and I'm almost monetized. Well, congratulations. Yeah, it was it didn't take me too long to reach that threshold. Oh, and by the way, since I have not done this in a while, YouTube has changed the interface on our side, and it now asks a lot more questions about setting up the live stream, and it has to do something with, because I guess you guys know this, I'm a monetized channel. So it asked me a bunch of questions about ad inserts, and I was like, "Why would you put an ad insert on the live stream?" And you can't disable it, so it's either monetized or not. And I was able to set it to like the most conservative setting, so like it shouldn't have any ads. But if you guys get ads during the live stream, let me know. I understand maybe afterwards, um, when the video is published, that's probably what they do. But when I'm live streaming, I want to make sure that there's no ads in this. That was ridiculous to me. I thought the whole point of a live stream was to not have ads. All right. Neo says, oh, wait, hold on a second. Knife Techs. Wow. My first super chat on this new channel. I can't say. I just found out Tawny Kitayan did full nude scenes in a 80s movie called The Perils of Gwendolyn or such or some such. Take care. All right. Well, that is some information, and I do appreciate you sharing that. And thank you so much for the super chat. I wasn't even sure if people could do that yet. The monetization settings are kind of confusing sometimes, and so I have things where like it says I can, and then other videos it says I can't. I went to Social Blade, and I have my channel set up where I'm supposed to be. You have to decide what your channel is and what it's about, and so I've always put people and blogs. And Social Blade says it doesn't recognize that. Like it doesn't show up my channel on that category, but I can't select another category. So I don't know. Sometimes all this stuff doesn't make any sense. And that brings me back to talking about Rumble. So I don't know if any of you guys are um, uh, following me on my Rumble channel, but the sync stopped and I cannot figure out why. So I don't know if other channels are experiencing this. One of the great things about Rumble for a while is if I posted here, it would automatically upload and add the video to Rumble using exactly the same settings, the same thumbnail, everything. And then all of a sudden, it stopped. You can still link the channels, but it doesn't seem to work. And I've unlinked it, relinked it, but I can't find other people talking about it. I don't think it's a problem with me or my channel. I think it's just either YouTube or Rumble having some issues or things got changed and it no longer works. And there goes my dog, Olive. Bye, Olive. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, I mean, I gotta find time to upload my new videos to Rumble. But their interface honestly sucks. I really do think they are the platform of the future. I actually own stock in Rumble because I have that much of faith in them. And I think they're doing good things. But my only issue is, and this is coming from the creator side, is I think the creator side honestly sucks. YouTube has it way better. I can download the creator app. I can see all of my videos. I can change thumbnails. I can change titles. I can change keywords. I can change settings. It's all aggregated. I can do it by date of release, date of upload. I can see everything. The Rumble creator side doesn't have that. It just has one list of stuff. It's in the order that it was published. It just does not have the same interface, and it sucks. They're doing good from the viewer side, but not the creator side. So I hope that they change that. Joe says the 629 was my absolute favorite revolver I ever owned. What did you think about how possibly uncomfortable it is to shoot? I mean, I know it's a big revolver, but man, I can only shoot so much 44 Magnum. In fact, I just reviewed the Henry Big Boy lever action at 44 Magnum, and even shooting it through a rifle, it begins to wear on you. 44 Magnum is a powerful, powerful round. Let's see here. Joe says, I noticed my creator thingy, YouTube loves to either hide comments or hold them. Yeah, you can actually change those settings, but you have to go into the online the web browser, and you can change those settings. I personally have certain things set because you guys would not believe how many people call me names or say certain things in my videos. You would be so surprised. So I have keywords that I can tell YouTube to either block completely or hold for review. And that's when I what I have. So like words like bootlicker, I get called that all the time, all the time. Um, of course, I have like, like the really bad, racist words. I have those immediately blocked and so forth. But I have a whole list of things that people generally call me, and I just have those as held for review. So what's funny is sometimes people will come and they'll post a comment that has that or one of those terms in there, and then they'll post 5 or 6 minutes later and go, "Why'd you delete my comment? You're blah blah." And it's not that I deleted the comment because I haven't even gotten around to reviewing it. It just went into a review status where it doesn't get published until I can either approve or disprove it, and then they all freak out. Let's see here. Um, Cookie says that is kind of why I rarely watch Rumble. I see the same thing here. I my Rumble channel was growing pretty good, and just once the sync stopped, I don't know what the issue is. And I have sent them an email. I've sent their tech, whatever the tech support an email going, it's not syncing, and I have not received an email back. So I don't know. I have everything set up like it's supposed to. Let's see here. Joe says I have giant hands, so it was a perfect fit for me. Well, that's good. Yeah. I mean, the 629 is just a beast of a revolver, and a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I will say shooting 44 special through it is a lot of fun. It's like shooting 38 special through a 357 Magnum. One of the funny things that I noticed when it came to the Henry lever action that I recently reviewed, and that review will come out in, I think, about 2 weeks, is 44 Special did not group and pattern very well, but the 44 Mag did. And the 44 Special at some distances tumbles. So if the target was at 20 yards, it was tumbling. At 25 yards, it appeared stable. And I cannot figure out why that was. But you'll see that in the review. Mr. King says the 4-inch became too much as I got older with the 44 Magnum. Yeah, for me, when it comes to those really powerful handguns, and I've mentioned this in some of my videos, I have rheumatoid arthritis. Not bad, not bad, but I do have it. And if I overexert myself too much, it will begin to hurt my joints the next couple of days. And so I don't shoot the 44 Magnum too often because of that, or guns that really hurt, just because it literally will hurt me later. So I could shoot a 629 or a model 29, and then literally the next 2 days I'm going to feel like I have like a sports injury in my fingers, and it's just no fun. And then sometimes the pain can be so bad that I can't do basic things. Like tying my shoe can be really hard. So as long as I don't shoot it too much, I'm fine. So that's why, sometimes people go, "Oh, you're a wuss" or whatever. Well, there is a reason why, because those big, heavy, powerful calibers will literally hurt me, and I'll be, unable to do things for a couple days. But such is the way of having rheumatoid arthritis, and it's just an autoimmune disease. My sister has an autoimmune disease. She recently had a pancreas and kidney transplant, and luckily it went very, very successful. But she's battled stuff like that for forever too. But otherwise, I'm pretty healthy. Just got that rheumatoid arthritis. Let's see here. Neo says thoughts on registering your semi-automatic firearms in Illinois. The time period to register starts today. By January 1st, they have to be registered with the state. Yeah. I mean, I don't live in Illinois, but I think you have to play it. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to hold off. Okay. And you have to decide whether or not you want them to know what you have. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving anybody any legal advice. But my suggestion would be this: hold off for a while. Now that it's in place, of course, you're going to have legal challenges, but we're probably not going to get it overturned in time. But be careful you don't wait until December the 31st at midnight to try to register them, because if that's the way that you want to go, because most likely the system will be down and you won't be able to. And then the deadline will pass. And then, you're like, oh no, I tried to register. It's not registered. Now they know I have it, but it's not, they're going to come. I would say wait for a while, see what happens, see if there's any problems, see if any of the legal challenges are successful, but don't wait until the very, 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 very last minute. That would be my advice. My other piece of advice is get the heck out of Illinois. One of the things I talk about in the Texas Gun Vault poll question of the week this week is someone mentions it in a comment about people living in California. And I said, I understand that people might have families and kids there, and it's where you grew up. But I mentioned that, if things are so bad, you need to move. Your ancestors traveled across the ocean in a boat, not knowing where they're going, sold every possession that they had, knowing they're never going to return to where they came from, because they wanted a new life and to be free. And mobility here in the U.S. for the most part is pretty easy. You can move from California to Texas, move from California to Florida, wherever you want to go. And if it's that bad, get out. You just have to. You have to get out. Let's see here. Joe Morgan, to put it in perspective, the 21 long slide was a great fit too. Oh, that's awesome. Mike says, that is why I now love my Smith & Wesson 657 and 41 mag. Much more enjoyable. I'm trying to think if I've ever shot a 41 Magnum. I don't think I have. I know I've done a 327 Federal Magnum, but not a 41. I'd have to double check on that, but I don't think so. Not a 41. It's an interesting cartridge. You know that when John Browning designed the 1911 and the 45 ACP to go with it, he actually thought 40 and 41 caliber were about optimal. He thought 45 was too big. And the only reason he agreed to make or design the 45 ACP is because that's what the military wanted. But he thought it was too big and too slow of a projectile, and he wanted a 41 caliber projectile in the 1911. Mr. King says, I wouldn't register them. World War II taught us how that ends up. And if you plan on living in the state, for a long time there in Illinois, and you have 20, 30, 40 guns. I mean, what happens if, something happens, the police come to your house just because, let's say there's a medical emergency or something completely unrelated to a crime, and they come in and they see one, well, you could be spending a lot of time in jail. It's just one of those things that you have to think about. You just have to think about it. And I support anybody's decision to do anything that they want. It's, you are free to do anything. Okay. And I support your decision 100%. But I think it's really important to think about all the possible variables about what could happen, because you're going to have DAs in Illinois that are going to be very zealous about attacking people that don't follow this law. And let's just say you're at home one day and you're, cleaning your AR-15 that you didn't register, and you have a medical emergency, and you call you call 911, and the fire department shows up or whatever, or sometimes the police come with them, and they're just there to help you. And they're like, what's this? Oh my gosh. And then after you get out of the hospital, you go straight to jail. It is a possibility, and you just have to be willing to accept that consequence if that's the decisions that you make. As I said, I support that 100%, but you just need to think about all eventualities. But the best thing is to get the heck out of Illinois. Joe Morgan says 41 mag has almost the same power without all the snappy recoil. Yeah, as I said, I'd like to try it someday. I don't even think I've even seen a 41 mag in person. Maybe I have, but I can't think of any. Mr. King says, I just went 686, 357, pre-ban. What do you mean pre-ban? Guns have never been banned, but I will say the 686 is one sweet revolver. I used to own one with a 6-inch barrel, But after shooting the 4-inch barrel, I really want one of those. But I love the way that the 586 looks in blued steel. Love the way the 586 looks. But stainless steel is so much easier to clean. Oh, pre-Hillary hole. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, those are so much nicer. And I don't understand why Smith and Wesson will not give that thing up. Somebody told me, now I have to look into this, that Smith and Wesson bought the company that makes that lock that goes into their revolvers. Like they bought the company and spent millions of dollars on it. And that's why they refuse to stop using it. I mean, no other company has that stupid lock. Um, and I've heard people have problems with them, especially in the more powerful revolvers, where they can engage. And if you don't have that little key with you, you can't disengage it. To me, it is just an absolute nightmare. It's unattractive. It doesn't do anything. Other companies don't have them. You don't need a lockout feature on it. You just don't. Um, yeah, Joe says Taurus had those for a bit. I don't think they do anymore. And if there was any company that I thought would have it, it would be Ruger. The one thing I hate about Ruger, and of course, Rugers are not my favorite in general. I'm not a big fan of that company. But one of the issues I've always had with Ruger is they always put essentially what I jokingly say is the owner's manual on the side of their guns. That always says read owner's manual before use. Gun can fire with magazine out of the firearm. It's like, why are you giving me a paragraph of information that I already know and you slap it somewhere in the gun? Beretta does the same thing on their like their 92 FSs. Get that off the gun. Don't put a paragraph of information. I don't want the word owner's manual on my gun. Just get it off the gun. Stop that. That is gross. And Ruger does that from time to time on some of their stuff. Like, stop. Don't put a paragraph on the gun. We don't need it. And it's not a liability thing because other companies don't have it and there's no problem. So, yeah. Anyway, let's see if I missed any questions here. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to ask. Tommy 22TS says I've gotten rid of my small compact micro pistols and started carrying full-size pistols for EDC. I carry a SIG 320 VTAC or P226 single action only in 9mm. What's your thought EDC on full size versus micro pistols? Okay, that is a great question. And I have been around guns now I really got into guns like I am now probably about 2010. So what is that, about 13 years? And in that time, I have seen trends. I've seen enough trends come and go in various shapes. We've had everything from going to quad rails on AR-15s being the thing. And then quad rails were not good enough because they're too thick. So we all have to go to key mod. Okay, key mod sucks now because M-Lock's out. Okay, so now we have these super duper ultra, you want thinner handguards. And now we're like, okay, those got too thin. They felt weird. Now we're back to quad rails again. You just see these patterns. And the micro compact pistols were a thing for a while. I remember when everyone was begging Glock to make a single stack 9mm. And they finally made a single stack 9mm and then no one bought it because everyone's like, well, the capacity's less. Of course the capacity's less. What do you expect? It's a single stack 9. But anyway, so for a while, all those companies were trying to come up with the smallest compact 9mm. And the more I shot them, I understood why people like them, because you could fit in like the original concept of the P365, 10 rounds in a gun like this big. It's a lot of firepower. Like, wow, that is a really well-designed magazine. But then you go and shoot it and you go, okay, well, the sight radius is this long. It doesn't fit into my larger hands very well. It's good for, deep concealment, great. That's awesome, but it's not fun to shoot. And I gravitate towards compact pistols for EDC. Like my go-to probably still is the Glock 19. I know it's not the coolest gun. I know it's not the sexiest gun in the world, but man, that Glock 19 is just the right size. It's just the right size. It has the right amount of capacity. And other guns in that sense, I like the Beretta 92 compact. I like the HK USP compact. Guns in that size, but full size is great if you can carry it. I would prefer to carry full size, but depending on what I'm wearing, especially here in Texas during most of the year when it's really hot, even though it's fall right now, uh, it's still like 93 degrees outside. So I can't wear anything heavy enough to carry a, full size pistol, but Glock 19 just seems to do it for me. But I do not like those micro compact pistols. The only one that I own, and it's not even I would say a micro compact, is I own the Smith and Wesson Shield Plus, and I have enjoyed that. It's the Performance Center edition. It has that 13 round magazine and a gun that's probably about this big. It works well. It's not as small as those other ones, but those super tiny ones I don't shoot well, and I just prefer something bigger. So, hope that answers your question. And I see you saying you're carrying the 320. Man, I get comments all the time on my 320 video where I talked about what I thought was going on with those discharges, those unintentional discharges. And there's still a lot of people out there that said they will never carry a 320. Mr. King Arthur says, I am 50, and at 18, my dad gave me a Bible and a Taurus clone of a 686, and it never had a lock. Well, there you go. Joe says, why would Glock make a single stack? That makes zero sense. It's because people wanted it. There was a time when people wanted single stacks. It was probably 7 years ago. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, I got to have a single stack. Single stack's the way to go. It's more narrow, because the whole thing was, if you were going to conceal carry, a Glock 26, is this thick, but a single stack 9 is that thick. And that was supposed to be this revolutionary thing where you would print less. And as I said, things come and go. Right now, one of the trends, and of course, whenever I give my opinions on anything, I say they're opinions. You're free to disagree. I always get the people that tell me how much of an idiot I am. The one thing that I have never thought was a good way to shoot, and I know it's the trend right now, is on AR-15s. All those people that have those C-clamp holds, do that. For me, partially because I have the rheumatoid arthritis, it's not very comfortable, but I don't shoot that well. And I'm like, okay, the only reason everyone does that stupid C-clamp hold now is because certain trainers do it. And all it's going to take is for one movie or one trainer to come out in the future and go, oh, no, you do it this way. And everyone's like, oh, that's the most amazing thing ever. And it's like, wait, that's the same way we were holding rifles back in Vietnam. Oh, it's amazing now, because that's the way to do it. It's just the trends, and everyone wants to be part of the thing, whatever it is. They just have to be part of the thing, and whatever the cool new thing is. Another trend right now is everybody has to have a 2011 pistol. They're nice. I review a lot of them, but I don't know. Everyone's just like, I gotta have a staccato, gotta have a Terran Tactical, gotta have a Atlas. I mean, they're all great guns. They're just the pistol du jour right now. And in the future, it will be something else. And as everything goes away from whatever a 1911, someone's going to come out and go, have you guys shot this gun called a 1911? I know it's single stack 45, but it's like amazing. The ergonomics are great. It's like a 2011, but in 45 and single. Everyone's like, oh, 1911s are amazing. It's just the way it goes. It's the way it goes. Everyone seems to forget the past. As I mentioned, in the gun world, our attention spans are like this short, just like that SIG P320 thing. What I say, people were commenting on that video, but now no one's really talking about it because we've all moved on to whatever topic of the week it is. Oh, here comes Olive. Hey, Olive, what you doing? I see you. Coming over to say hi to everybody. coming over to say hi? You want to say hi to everybody real fast before I answer some more questions? No, no. Here we go. Yeah, I know. I love you too. I love you too. See that? That's Olive, everybody. Right, Olive. Right. I love you. There you go. Oh. Okay. Let's see here. Mr. King Arthur says quad rails were so much easier to mount things to. Yes, and I agree. I still prefer quad rails. To me, quad rail hand guards are great. Like, for example, I know Daniel Defense just came out with their Riz 3, which has all M-LOK. It's like the Mark 18 rail, but with M-LOK. Give me the quad rails every time. They're just more secure. Cookie, I'm impressed with how the FN Reflex shoots. I would like to try one of those. I know my friend who's an FFL just picked up one of those. Let's see here. Mr. King Arthur says, mine is a tricked out G34 9mm because I have broad shoulders, which helps with a cover shirt. I always wear an undershirt when I carry inside the waistband. Joe says, yeah, the gun community is fashion based. Yeah, it's whatever the current thing is, and I see it all the time. And I see it all the time. And I think sometimes it's pushed by manufacturers because it's how they get you to keep buying the next thing. And I'm guilty of it myself. I get something and then whatever the next cool thing is, I got to have that too. I don't blame them. It's just, whatever the thing is, everyone goes crazy. And my favorite are the people that know everything. I do not claim to know everything. In fact, everything I talk about in videos is things I look up and research and find out from other people. So, I stand on the shoulders of giants. But there are so many people out there that are like, oh, yeah. I mean, they act like they've been shooting for 30, doing competition shooting for 30 years. And, oh, yeah, I was doing the C clamp on the AR back in the 1980s. That's the way we'd like, no, you weren't. No. Let's see here. Mr. King Arthur says, I would prefer a smaller rail grip on an AR instead of trying to burn my hand on a C-clamp. Yeah, some of these handguards, they get way too thin and too close to the barrel. They get a lot of heat transfer. Even if it's a free float barrel, they get a lot of heat transfer because those rails are so close to those barrels. Joe says, I see the ATF hasn't gotten Olive yet. No, she's fine. She's fine. Yeah. But what's funny is all those people on my old ATF pistol brace video, they were like, you're going to go, they're going to come arrest you because you tried to register a pistol and they're going to change their mind. They're going to be like, you have an SBR now. They're going to come kill your, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Did you guys ever see the video on the Texas Gun Vault 2 when I discovered that one of my clients, because you guys know I teach music lessons, one of my clients' parents, one is a special agent for the ATF, and the other one is the assistant director for the Dallas field office of the ATF. So yeah, I go to their house all the time and things, and it's just like, oh, because I discovered it because I was leaving the house one day, and I noticed in their office on one of their computers they had all this like ATF logo stuff. I'm like, ATF, what the heck? And then I found out that they were ATF agents. So it's like, oh. But I talked to him. It was really kind of interesting because, especially the mom who's a field agent. She was talking and she's like, yeah, we don't really care. We don't follow gun owners and like how many guns people have. And they were not really big into the whole, what's that trigger system? Forced reset trigger stuff. They're like, we really don't care. We're just doing it because we have to write these letters and that kind of stuff. They're really, for the most part, not enjoying having to do that kind of stuff. What they really want to be doing is going out and going after the gangs and the gun smugglers and that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff they really care about doing. It was really kind of an interesting conversation because what they focus on as individuals is not what you think. They don't sit around going, how can I get the average gun owner? So, yeah. Caleb Davis says, I'm grateful for your channel and wisdom and patience. My daily I'm assuming he said EDC. He said ETC is a stainless steel MR 920 comp, and it works great. Gratefully, never had to use it, and hopefully never do. Keep it real. Well, thank you so much. That sounds like a fantastic gun. I do like those Shadow Systems. They're great guns. Morgan says C-clamp grip will burn the crap on your old front sight base if you don't tuck it in. Yes. Mr. King Arthur says the ATF is like trying to play a board game with someone who keeps changing the rules as you go along. Talking to them, and I asked them about that. I said, what about the rules and all that stuff? And they said, listen, all that stuff is handled by people in Washington, D.C. It's not the field agents. It's not the directors of the field offices, because literally what they want to be doing is, I guess you could say, the cool stuff, in that they want to be the ones catching the illegal gun smugglers, bringing stuff in from other countries, the people that are illegally modifying guns and selling them to gangs. That's what they really want to be investigating and stopping, because it makes them feel like they're doing something. And I think arguably that's where their resources do need to be. I mean, we don't want people smuggling firearms into the U.S. We don't want people making illegal machine guns for gangs. I think we can all agree on that. And that's really what they want to be doing. They hate wasting their time on this changing of the rules all the time. And they say it's not them, it's the lawyers and the bureaucrats, people that are not involved in the day-to-day operations of the agency. They're the ones that work with the administration, the people in DC, the people there. That's who's changing the rules, not them. They're not asking them to be changed or any of that. So, but I talked to him for a little bit, and the one thing though is, it's funny because when I said, "Oh, you work for the ATF," and they didn't know who I was or anything, or if I even owned guns. It was funny. But the first thing, she looked at me and goes, "You're going to ask me if I can speed up a tax stamp, aren't you?" And I said, "No." She goes, "I can't." She goes, "I don't do that." I was like, okay, maybe I am waiting on one, but it was kind of funny though. I guess they get asked all the time, and they even told me that they have to wait the process as well. So even if they're a field agent, if they do a Form 4 transfer for themselves, they still have to wait the 9 months or a year. They don't get any special treatment. Master Failure says, "Oops, late to this." Well, it was kind of a last minute thing. So I just wanted to do one of these and see how it goes. All right. We got Joe says, "To be fair, most street gangs, at least in my area, avoid civilians like the plague." I mean, I forgot where you live, Joe, but it reminds me of that show. Was it Breaking Bad, where I know he tried to not involve civilians in his operation, because it only gets messy and it brings unwanted attention to you. So yeah. So let's see here. It is 53 minutes into this live stream. So if I go for the hour, I think we're doing pretty good for my first live stream of the Texas Gun Vault instead of Texas Gun Vault. So if you guys have any other questions or anything you'd like to talk about, just type it into the chat. I want to thank Knife Tex again for the super chat. I have not had a super chat in, I guess, since January or so. So that's my first one, because I haven't live streamed. But I think my channel is big enough that I might do this now. I've been kind of wanting to do commentary videos on Sundays, which I do from time to time if there's something to talk about. But maybe I'll do live streams instead, depending on my mood. So I hope you guys enjoy this and would like to stop by. Joe says, "I'm in Southwest Idaho, and I was involved with street gangs growing up. Was cost of doing business. Even criminals don't like people who hurt innocent people." Interesting. Well, I'm glad you got out of that, Joe. And I didn't know Idaho had all that much. What is it, like a potato gang or something? Is that what you guys did? Caleb says, "I'm jealous of you in Texas. I live in Oregon." Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for all the things you guys have to deal with there. Wow. Yeah. Well, some states are turning red. Florida, Because I'm originally from Florida, and when I was there, it was kind of purplish. It was kind of 50-50, and I was worried Florida was going to go blue for a long time. Now it's ultra red. Um, some parts of Texas are becoming more and more blue. It just kind of depends. So we could end up where you guys are in a few election cycles. Mark Anthony asked Texas Gun Vault, if you had to pick an ultimate SHTF pistol, price is not an issue, what would you pick? If we're just going to go a traditional pistol, not like an AR-15 pistol or something like that. And of course, in that scenario, size doesn't really matter. Believe it or not, I would probably go with, drum roll please, a Glock 17. Okay. It's durable, it's reliable. And in that type of a scenario, you'd be more likely to find parts for it as well. So that would just be for survival. It wouldn't be my favorite gun, but it would be one that I can personally shoot well, has good capacity, has a huge aftermarket. So as I said, there'd be a lot of parts out there. Common pistol, easy to use, easy to train other people to use. It's a point and click system versus other things. The fact that it would be made of polymer, or the frame is polymer, it'd be more durable in a situation where you don't want to have to worry about, rust or other things. If you're out in the woods, if you have a blued steel gun, that's something you have to think about. See here. Master Failure says, I will be back in Dallas for all of December. Glad to bring along some items for review if you want. Not that I have anything like your collection. Well, I would be honored to. I mean, if you come here, we can hang out. Yeah. So email me, texasgunvault@gmail.com. And let's see what we can do. Mr. King Arthur says, Texas is the freest state in the union. Maybe. No, well, I'll be honest with you. I think Oklahoma actually is. I mean, and it pains me to say that as a Texan, because we got that rivalry with Oklahoma, but they're a little bit better than we are. But we just have more things. Caleb says, at least I don't live in California. Yeah, that's yeah. I don't understand why anyone's still living there. And it's not just for the gun things; it's all for the other politics. And it makes me so sad. Occasionally on these Facebook reels and things, I'll see is people going to California and San Francisco, and you see all the homeless and the defecation on the street and the the crime, and oh man, it's so sad. It's so sad. That state is just falling apart. Let's see here. Mr. King Arthur says G40 and 10 millimeter. The only problem with that is I think 10 millimeter would be a lot harder to find ammo for than 9. If you're having to rummage through a post-apocalyptic wasteland and go through people's homes, you're more likely to find 9 millimeter than you are 10 millimeter. CJ Justice, when does your store open? What? I don't know why people think this. Oh, I think I mentioned this in a video. Somebody asked about a store. There is a gun store in Texas called Texas Gun Vault. That's not me. It is it's in a town called Paris, Texas, which is like an hour and 45 minutes or 2 hours from where I live. It has no affiliation with me, and they started that after I had the channel name. So I don't think they even are aware of me. There is no affiliation. I do not have a store. I am not an FFL. I am none of that. So, yeah, that is not me. That is not me. It just happens to share the same name. That is all it is. So I have no doubt people have contacted them and asked them about me or what have you, but there is no affiliation. I have never spoken with them, never conversed with them. I am only aware of their existence. And as I said, they had the name after me. So this channel is older than them, but probably long a term when it comes to, unfortunately, most FFLs, they go out of business. So eventually I'm sure it will go away. I don't want them to. I do wish they changed their name, but I know that sometimes people get that confused. But I am not affiliated with any gun store, any of that. That is not me. Mustafa says, my eForm 1 just passed the 300-day mark and still not approved. What should I do? An eForm 1? I have never seen one go that long. I would call the NFA branch and uh, they have a thing you can check the status and just ask the person that answers the phone about that and go, and even on their website, I think it says like they're like 30 days or 40 days. They might even be able to tell you why. Because if your thing went into a delay on the FBI background check side, they don't really follow up on that. So they may say just cancel the stamp and then reapply. So that might be something you want to do. Mr. King Author says G40 10mm can be used for hunting and defense against predators. Yes, it can be, but once again, ammo. Mr. King says also Paris is like the last stop before Oklahoma. Yeah, it is. It's, as I said, it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours away from here. And by the way, if you don't know, in Texas, we don't gauge things based on actual distance in miles, but by time. Even if a store, like if I'm going to go someplace around here in the DFW Metroplex, it could be literally 4 miles away, but I will say it is 20 minutes away because of traffic. I don't say it's 4 miles away. Everything is done by time. Let's see here. Mark, any thoughts on the Glock 19X? I hear it's not widely liked by the public. I absolutely love mine. The only thing I wish that it had would have the manual safety like they did on the modular handgun system trials gun. I personally like it. At first, when that thing first came out, I thought it was goofy looking, but after shooting it, it's a very well-balanced gun with the longer frame and the shorter slide. Makes absolute complete sense to me. Cookie says, I used to live about 30 miles from Paris, Texas, and Oklahoma. Yeah. And then, okay. So Nicholas says, I just had an advertisement play in the middle of the stream. I have never seen that on a live stream. Okay. Thank you for letting me know, because I asked this earlier on, because I can't shut those off as far as I can tell. When I started to um, uh, set this stream up, and I haven't done one in like 8 months. It had all these questions about like, when do you want us to interrupt? I was like, what do you mean interrupt my stream? What the heck are you talking about? And the only thing I could set was the frequency, or if I could do it manually. And I was like, I have no idea what the heck it's saying. So I set it to like the most conservative setting, but I can't shut them off. So it's just like, well, you're a monetized channel, so we run this. Like, no, don't run this on a live stream. Do it on like the replay of the live stream. I can't shut. It's one of their new features, and I'm so sorry. I'll continue to try to work with it, but I could not turn that off. And I was curious, based off of what it said, if it was going to do that during the live stream or on the replay. So I'm so sorry. I do not control that, and I cannot turn it off as far as I can tell. So I'm so sorry. It is not me. I don't control that, and I have no idea what ads they're running on it. Joe says, "Do Glock is a legacy company. They either need to stick with their lineup or actually make something new." Yeah, but if they make something new, people probably aren't going to like it. The only thing I would like to see them bring to the market is that AR-15 that they made for that European contract. It was kind of interesting. But yeah, they care a lot about military and police contracts more than anything else. There's some items that they could make that would sell like hotcakes, but they just refuse to do it because they make so much money anyway. I mean, after all, Gaston Glock, or Gaston, or however you pronounce his name, he is a billionaire. Mr. King says, Mustafa, probably the same reason my security clearances got a full review, as my sister was born in Turkey when my father was stationed there with the military. Oh, there you go. No, Nicholas, no, you did not mess up the show and the flow of that. It's just one of those new things. I don't watch a lot of live streams, so I didn't know it. I had not done one of these in a long time. Just to let you guys know, I'm 4 minutes over, but I will probably be ending this pretty soon. Tommy asks, what does your wife EDC? Normally, she carries the two guns she likes to carry. She has a pink Glock 19 and also a Colt Pocket Light Mustang that I gave her with custom pink Hello Kitty grips made by Brownworks. And that's probably the gun she carries the most is that 380. She has an EDC purse that she likes to carry it in with a nice holster and all that. So it works really well for her. Mr. First One says Trump is currently leading in the polls. At PSA, he implied that he would fix that when asked about the brace ban. Think that changes the odds of getting the ban lifted in a few years? Wishful thinking. He will forget about it. Remember when he said that the attack on your Second Amendment rights are over, and then he did more for being anti-gun than any president before him? Just remember that. He also said that I don't hold his feet to the fire on it. I don't hate him for it, but remember, he also said we need to take the guns first, and then due process later. That's not due process. Joe Morgan says, I want the 17 size and 380 to show up as a matter of principle. You know that they released a small batch of those Glock 28s. I picked up one. I would like to see them to release the Glock 25, which is like a Glock 19, but in 380. That would be so cool. American made one. And then CJ Johnson says, didn't Gaston get shot or injured by one of his employers or something like that? It was a fellow investor. I remember that. It had to do something with an investor that came to his house and tried to kill him. See, and then XXC Demon 08 says a single stack G17 would be cool too. Remember, we talked about single stack guns before, and everyone's like, what? They don't, nobody wants, I'm telling you, people clamor for those things. I don't know why, just because they're a little bit thinner. But that's it. So I think we went full circle. So I hope you guys enjoyed the chat tonight. I am honored and humbled that 29 of you have stuck around and are watching this right now, according to it. And I got 24 thumbs up on my first live stream on my channel. So I think I'm going to be doing this pretty much every weekend. I'll try to find times to do it. I might, as I said, I'll try to do live streams as much as I can. If I feel like I need to do a video about a commentary video or something else, I'll do that. But if I can live stream and you guys will show up like this, I will definitely do it more in the future. I want to give a shout out to Knife Tex again. Thank you for that super chat tonight. It meant a lot to me. I'll answer just a couple more questions if anybody has one. The new AR guy says, my Form 1 DD for the BNT GL06 submitted on February 2nd, 2023 is at 8 months now, still waiting, while my free tax stamps have all come back. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on right now. I will say that my Form 1 destructive device on the GL06 came back in 45 days back when I did it. So, yeah, I cannot figure out what's going on. And I talked about that in one of my videos on the Texas Gun Vault too. So anyway, thank you all for being here. If you guys want to know what I think about the California magazine ban and what other people said, please check out in 49 minutes on the Texas Gun Vault 2, the Texas Gun Vault poll question of the week, where we talk about that. And I also have a very spicy poll for next week about, are you happy about Dianne Feinstein being gone? So I'm curious what the response is going to be. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for putting up with my terrible internet connection. So yeah, remember, you guys can always email me, texasgunvault@gmail.com. I try to get through my emails as best as I can. And I guess that's it for tonight. Thank you for being here for the live stream. And it's awesome to see a lot of the old people that I used to see all the time in here. So thank you. Thank you so much. I'm honored and humbled. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I will be back next week, hopefully for another live stream, if I decide to go that way. And I hope you guys enjoy all of the videos I have coming out this week. Once again, as a reminder, the big channel update is we're going to, because I'm running out of older videos and content. We're going to go to 3 a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And that's it. So Friday, once again, is the Smith & Wesson M&P 22 full size. And Monday, tomorrow, is the Noveske Infidel Gen 4 rifle. And Wednesday is the Smith & Wesson 629-6 Classic in 44 Magnum. So there you go. Thank you guys for being here, and I guess I will see you in the next one. So I will end this like I always do. So, as always, thanks for watching.